They think of Bitcoin as similar to some Paytm money, but it's not.
And what blockchain and crypto, I think, such right now, what they're doing is they're providing the financial independence. Banks are a little afraid of them because they are here to stay, and they will take their market share.
Thank you so much, Shivam, Atulya, and Devesh for joining us today. Three of you started BuyUcoin in 2016. And then this is way before, again, this is a way before story than the buzz that we are hearing and, all the blockchain, crypto exchanges that we are hearing about right now. And then what is interesting is that Shivam built this in 9 days. Tell us, how did this happen? Take us back to the starting of BuyUcoin.
So I was doing we were in third year, and actually passed out second year, and I was in vacation of summer break of second year. Then I was doing some freelancing work for some overseas clients, some website development work. So I used to develop few website, a normal static, and few bit of dynamic website also. So that's how the client asked me whether I could accept Bitcoin as a payment. So I didn't know about Bitcoin that time. So I researched about what it is, and I found that yes, I could accept it. I could liquidate easily in India. And he transferred. I created an account on an exchange in India, and then I got the Bitcoin in that address, and I liquidated that Bitcoin and got the money into a bank account, my bank account. So that whole process.
Simple people like me, you bought, liquidated, and got cash in your bank account.
Yes, so I sold my Bitcoin actually.
That's some technology things that we used to say.
Yeah.
So I sold that Bitcoin which I received from that client, and got money in my bank account. Usually, if I had to accept that payment from any client overseas, so it was around a 7 days or 5 days time to get the money in my bank account. And in this case, it was just 6 hours.
Wow.
So that was something which got hit me actually, and made me thinking what it is actually. So I started researching about it and found that a whole financial revolution is happening across the globe. People are building products around this particular thing. So, and when I saw in India, there was very limited companies out there, and with not so user-friendly user interface, and process was also so lengthy for a normal user to buy or sell crypto. So that gave me an idea, why could I start something easy for people to buy crypto in India. At that time it was just Bitcoin which was more popular. Crypto word got popular in 2017 actually. So I started a basic. So this 9 days thing is just a website which I developed where you could buy, you could even sell Bitcoin there. So I was just selling Bitcoin to people who want to buy. So it was a very basic website. I am not an expert in coding that much. So Devesh is an actual expert here, who later on developed the whole platform from scratch. What you are seeing now, we have. So I developed a very basic MVP, what we can say. But that MVP got good traction. From the initial days, we got, I don't know how we got, but we got media coverage from NDTV and all those things. So that was a time we were still in third year of our college.
What did it take for you guys to build it? From 2016, if you have to take us through the journey, कि क्या बनाया BuyUcoin में, or how did you differentiate? How did you grow? What were some of the milestones, if you could share with us?
So building a crypto exchange in India looks very easy. And I did it myself in 2016-17. I was a sole developer that time. We didn't have that much of a team per se, and there was no guidance because it was not that popular. Nobody knew about how to develop things around Bitcoin or anything, any blockchain related stuff, right? So the product was that a limitation, but not that much. The main part, the whole thing about this, this exchange is how to run this, because there are so many verticals in this one. We have operation support, banking channels, crypto channels, and that too when since we are a crypto company, we don't get that much of services that other companies do, right? It's because we are a crypto company, we don't get that service, we don't get that service, right? So the whole problem is we have to find our way according to ourselves, right? It's very hard to up till 2018 or 19 we didn't have any payment channels as well. We used to do bank transfer directly, right? So these kind of issues that we were facing in initial phase, right now it's very easy, it has become a little easy for us, for investors as well, to get involved in cryptocurrency, crypto assets, and trading. But at the initial phase, it was very hard to run this kind of business.
We have taken some steps in this direction to help the Indian entrepreneurship and startup community. We have developed programs and protocols that allow anyone with let's say a website to start trading using providing cryptocurrencies as a trading tool for their users. So that's how things have changed since then, and we have taken major steps to ensure that anyone who wants to build applications around this space, it isn't that hard as it was for us back in the day.
But if you have to go back to your mind and to your days and to inside your minds in 2016 and 17, when you were learning about this space and when you were learning about building an exchange, and if today you have to talk to people who don't understand, अगर उन्हें समझाना है, then what will you say? ये cryptocurrency exchange होता क्या है और वहाँ पे क्या?
So for this, there is a very funny story that happened with me a couple of months back. So I was in a shop and I was talking to the salesperson there about my business, and I'm trading. I have an exchange and you can buy or sell Bitcoin with us. So actually, what he asked me, that he was very curious actually. So he asked me if I have Bitcoin in my pocket and if I can show him how Bitcoin looks like in real world. So that happened a couple of months back only. So this is what India is for crypto or Bitcoin. There isn't that much mass that knows about Bitcoin, or what is it is and how, what are the limitations and what are pros and cons. So that is there actually.
So if I may ask all three of you to pitch to India and the Indians who don't know about this, what would you say? अगर समझाना हो उनको.
So I think if we have to explain our business कि हम क्या काम करते हैं, and so it would be very basic. It's like a marketplace जहाँ पर buyers होते हैं, जहाँ पर sellers होते हैं. कोई Bitcoin बेच रहा होता है, कोई Bitcoin खरीदना की कोशिश कर रहा होता है. So what we help is we help them exchange their values from each other and provide them security. So we act as an escrow between both the parties. So this is how we can explain in a very layman term.
अभी exchanges तो बहुत आ गए हैं ना?
Yes.
Right.
अपने आप को कैसे differentiate करते हो फिर?
So like from the initial days, what most of the exchanges did initially when they started to launch in India, they copied the concept of what global exchanges were doing, like starting from real-time exchange where you see order books. Hope you understand order books and all this stuff.
Just like how stock markets happen, right?
Yes. So what they did, they simply copy pasted what global exchanges were doing, order books and all these things. But what we did from the initial days is to provide an easy interface, like in terms of you don't see order book. What you see a single rate and as much quantity you want, you could buy at that particular rate. So because if you see from a normal investor perspective, he has money in his bank account which he want to invest. So what he needs to do is he could just simply deposit the money into the exchange and then just click enter the amount he or she want to buy and simply click on buy. So we started with this kind of model itself, and that time also there was we were the first one who was adopting this kind of model, and people really loved it. So interestingly, 2017 July we launched officially with a registered entity in India, and within 6 months we got a good amount of traction due to this product itself. And later on, now if you see even other exchanges, our competitors have a similar kind of product which they were not having earlier. So because the market needs it.
प्लीज हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड. जैसे कि नॉर्मल एक्सचेंजेस होता है, वहां पे ट्रांजैक्शन फीस से पैसा बनता है, राइट? देयर इज अ परसेंटेज फॉर द ट्रांजैक्शन फीस. हाउ डू यू मेक मनी इन योर एक्सचेंज?
Yes, so we have two kind of revenue models. One is a basic model which is earning commission on both side of the trade. So if you are trading, and so we simply charge a small fees over your trading volume from the buyer side as well as from the seller side. So this is a quite normal revenue model which is there with other exchanges as well. Another is we have our OTC or easy platform, which is more or less our USP, if we have to say. So, and our 80% of the like traction is in that particular product. So in that, what it's although it's 0% commission module, we don't charge any commission. So the rate which you get is inbuilt with a small margin of ours. So ultimately user see a single rate, which includes of all kind of commission and taxes, so to make it more simplified for the end user. So from there we earn through the margins.
Token listing process comprises a lot of steps, and the integration and testing necessary can often be long drawn. But some exchanges skip a few steps so they can rapidly list coins. But as a drawback, the coins have limited functionality on the exchange in terms of withdrawals and deposits. So, how do you list new and attractive coins on your exchange in time to appeal to potential traders?
Yeah, this is a major problem with other exchanges. So what they do is there is some famous coin which get launched, and everyone wants all the exchanges to list it, but more or less not everyone is willing to list because of the same issues which you just mentioned. So what we have done innovatively is we try to list more on, we have worked, see, for that we need to understand how these coins work. So these coin work on a specific blockchain network. So it could be an ERC20 token, which could be on Ethereum blockchain. There could be Binance smart chain where they have certain tokens. There could be Cardano and others. So we have few major blockchains which on which tokens are built. So if we talk about, so what we have done is we have worked in and made an infrastructure in such a manner that like for, let's say, for an Ethereum blockchain token we want to list. So we have that particular thing already. So we just have to plug and play the new token smart contract address, and it's open to trade with deposit and withdrawal functionality live.
Even if we are listing a coin that is not directly available for deposit withdraw directly, right? But then, for starting 1 or 2 weeks, the initial, investors want to buy that asset, right? They want to invest in that asset. So and within 1 to 2 weeks, we try to complete the whole process, and make available the deposit withdrawal as well. So that is one thing. The other thing, how we can find new attractive coins. So what we do is I do get LinkedIn requests that please list this coin, we want to invest in this coin. So these kind of requests we do cater them. User directly ask us that this is a very trending coin, and we would love to invest in this one. And we have financial experts who watch the markets and potential good investment that can be for our investors. We try to onboard those listings as well, so that they can have the profits in their hands. So there's that also.
Recently, the RBI clarified that its 2018 circular preventing banks from dealing with virtual currencies cannot be cited by banks as it is invalid. The crypto industry in India largely cheered this move. What has been your experience with your bank partners in the last few months? What does this new RBI clarification mean for your business?
So definitely it's a very good news in terms of like if we talk, if let's say earlier we used to talk to a certain bank, so they show us the circular which RBI has issued earlier. So they were not keen to listen about what Supreme Court has said or not. So more or less everyone wants to look at what their higher authorities are saying. So Earlier, RBI didn't clear anything, but with this thing, we could easily like confidently talk to them that this is your governing authority is saying. But in terms of how we are dealing with these banks, so we are not dealing them with, although we have corporate bank account, but for the user deposit and withdrawal, we are not dealing with them directly. So we are using intermediaries in between, which are like merely a payment gateway, a payment processor, or a payment aggregator. So we have all kind of aggregators, processors, and payment gateways integrated with our platform. So this they deal with the bank. So what we did soon after the RBI came up with the circular, we passed over it to a payment processor who the ICICI Bank and Paytm Payment Gateway, Paytm Payments Bank has stopped their services. So we asked them, you can talk to these bank again with this circular. So they said that we have already initiated the talk with this circular, and hopefully they will return back with some positive news. But dealing directly with them is more or less quite a hassle, since we are not into a payment industry business. We are into crypto exchange business, so we rely on a third party to help us with that. But yeah, this will definitely help.
Again, taking it from a very normal world to your crypto world and blockchain world, is that how does your customer service and troubleshooting model work? When trading volumes are high, exchanges often receive several tickets about issues with deposits, withdrawals, or even a crash of the exchange's app. How do you deal with this?
So the thing is, when there's a sudden upsurge in the market, so we expect that there will be volume, right? And it actually does work like that. So we do, we scale our systems beforehand, so that we are able to cater our customers, and there is no at least crash of the application. That should not be happening, right? So that is our primary task, that the platform should be live and running, fully functional. That is our primary task. Then for support and operations, we have multiple processes set, so that if there's RSL is defined, that if this type of issue our users are facing and they are repetitive, so we try to find a solution of that problem with our tech team, right? So because if we want to build a scalable system, our support system should also be scalable. So that is what our aim is, to make our support system so scalable that with increased number of customers or tickets, we don't have to face outage with our support team.
And adding to that, we are also, what we are doing is we are building a self-help system where like certain issues like deposit, they have done the deposit and not being credited. So it's something, a technical glitch from the payment gateway's error. So there are so in a normal process, what happens is support team passes it to a operation team to do it. So, but what we are visioning it, if the user can use their transaction ID, transaction ID is basically related to that particular transaction, and can help himself or herself directly on the platform rather than creating a ticket. So on that particular tech system we are working, that would help us to scale our support system very well.
In this world where data is becoming the most essential asset, I would say,
Right.
how do you ensure data privacy, data security on your platform? And do you get questions around this?
Right, we do get that, and for that, we have regular security audits as well from cyber teams, and right now we are partnering with MongoDB Atlas. They are the whole soul in charge of other 500 Fortune companies as well, and we will be directly outsourcing them the whole data privacy thing, to make sure that things are handled by more professional and skilled people, right? So that's our aim, that with more skilled people, it's hard to get. So they already have they are working with banks actually, right? And then that makes sense that we are also a kind of bank, decentralized bank, but yes, we do think of ourselves like a bank.
How do you track metrics of success or milestones in your business? And the other thing is that, are you profitable? Are you making money, and how do you make like money, and do you have like cash money or token money?
No, we are a bootstrap startup since 2016, or and we started with our own money, and since the first day we are surviving on the profits we are making, and till now we are cash positive in all aspects. And in terms of metrics, like metrics are very nominal, like in terms of user signups, in terms of logins, how many logins are happening, trading volume, number of orders which is being placed on our platform on a daily basis, KYCs which are being done on a daily basis. So these are the primary metrics. And then apart from them, the secondary metrics comprises of traffic and all that other marketing.
If I have to ask all of you, from 2016, we are now in 2021. That's, and I was telling Devesh before we started that, when we talk about years, then it looks like, हाँ, 4 साल, 5 साल, मगर you live your life, you live everything, right? When you are running a startup, then uh, I compare it to, very silly maybe, but the Devdas dialogue that हर महीने हर दिन जला तो मैं ही, right? Like, because you've given everything of your life to this. If I have to ask what this journey has meant, if today you guys have to say 5 साल को देखना है और अगले 1-2 साल को देखना है यहाँ से, so what will you say?
So पिछले 4 साल what we have seen is we have seen a massive surge in everything, even the amount of money we were making, that since we just started this venture while we were still in college, so never saw that kind of money. And we have seen highs in 2017 when there was a bull run which was happening. We have seen lows, extremely lows also in the company's life, and our lives as well, related to the company, when everything was banned and we were barely making any profits, but still running and operating with lean operation style. And we have seen Supreme Court decision where we have seen the life to our company again. And now we are at a stage where we are very much ready to scale our business to something which we can make it as a legacy for coming generations to come, or a business which runs for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, because this industry is here to survive. And this industry is something which will evolve and become the next name of the financial industry. So as we all know, the banking industry is degrading on a daily basis, and I personally expect that in the course of next 7 to 8 years, banks would more or less would be an institution for just holding money. For banking, there would be neo banks would be there. There would be crypto companies which will take over.
So for me personally, actually, the last 4 years have been a hustle each day, every day, and I, miss like that, and I hope that we hustle next 2-3 years, and make this company grow, and to make this company big enough that each and everyone knows about it. So that's what our aim actually is.
I would personally hope to, create such this legacy that we are probably, if we could call it a legacy, what we are doing right here, right now. The best thing that I could do, if I'm able to do that, is to create that sense of belief in people that let's not lose hope. This can be done. If these guys can do it, then I can do it. That's the best thing that we could.
क्यों blockchain technology पे इतना belief है? Why do you have such belief? Because the world is still divided, as you know.
So for this, we need to understand what blockchain basic thing is, what it provides, what kind of value it provides in general, why everyone is like people who are pro to blockchain, why they are being pro to blockchain. So for that, we need to see how our traditional system works. So our traditional system, even if you take example of banks, or if you take example of any kind of notary system, or even governments on a higher level, if we take, so we trust banks, then only we keep our money with them, because otherwise there was cash system or gold we used to keep with us, and now we trust banks as an intermediary. that they will secure our money. Then in terms of notary, let's say if we are doing a land registry, then there are, let's say I am a person who want to sell a land and you are the person who want to buy a land. Can't we just buy and sell with each other? We have to register it with notary, because tomorrow I will come to you that I haven't sold my land to you, you are falsely claiming. But then we have the notary system to protect us that yes, I have sold it to you on this particular day. So we have these intermediaries all across our ecosystems. In each and every you could have a certain intermediary available. So, but there are some problems with these intermediaries, that they are not transparent. Some kind of other issues, like in terms of banks manipulate some things. So these kind of disbeliefs happen. And if you see when crypto got launched, or Bitcoin first invented, was in 2008 after the financial crisis happened. So the main reason of that financial crisis was we believed in the system too much. We believed in the banks who were holding our money too much, that one day we have to regret our decision. So from that, something called Bitcoin came out. And you could just put out some number in a system and sell it like a Bitcoin, but you can't, because what difference between a normal system and a Bitcoin is, it is backed by blockchain. Now the blockchain comes into the picture, and what blockchain provides us is a trust system. So it's, if you have to compare blockchain with any other system, it's an intermediary system where this intermediary system is not governed or controlled by any single entity. So it could be a bank for you, it could be a ledger for you, it could be a land registry for you, it could be a government for you, if we take on a higher side.
Today, a lot of myths also gets promoted and propagated because people don't know.
Absolutely, they think of Bitcoin as similar to some Paytm money, but it's not. Paytm can remove your Paytm money anytime they want, but in Bitcoin, if you have Bitcoin with yourself, and no one can remove it until you wish it to be. So just ending with a few lines, like so why some people believe is because they believe in the technology, how blockchain is not centralized or not controlled by any single entity. So they think that the ledger which blockchain is maintaining of Bitcoin would be secured ever. So that's a belief. And if we talk about, there is a debate obviously that some countries would accept it and some countries won't accept it. So if we talk about and I think what banks are doing, it's quite nominal from their aspect, because it's actually challenging them.
For my thought, internet provided the masses with the independence of communication and information, right? And what blockchain and crypto, I think, such right now, what they're doing is they're providing the financial independence. So that's why Shivam rightly said that banks are a little afraid of them, because they are here to stay, and they will take their market share. So
Shivam, Devesh, Atulya, I want to ask you to pitch today why BuyUcoin is the exchange India and the world should look out for.
So like first of all, we have been there since 2016. We have seen and build a kind of product which is actually best fitted for the investors in India specifically. And we know what investors and investor problem is in India while they invest in crypto. So we like determining these problem, and after understanding these problem, so we have made necessary changes in our product, in our services, in our operations, so we could give certain value to our users who are using our platform for investing, holding money, the kind of security. If you have seen, a lot of exchanges got shut down during the bear market. Even they were having some big names, but we survived during the whole bear market, and we are still here. And although we are young entrepreneurs, but you can trust us with your money, and more things we are launching, catering to the new demands of our user. Like we have all kind of suits and services which are gonna be there. We would have lending, you could earn interest over your idle crypto. So, and these kind of things will be there. So, but we are here to stay for, if you want to invest in crypto for like 10, 20 or 15 years, you could choose Buyucoin. We would be there by that time also.
Thank you so much to the three of you, Devesh, Shivam, Atulya. This has been a very good conversation, and I hope this is just a start of the conversation and we keep on talking.